Hello viewers, welcome to our program on immigration and you. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us attorney David Nachman. David, welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
Now in
Great to
today's
be here.
program, firstly we want to just tell you something about our trip to India. And as you know, for the last many years I have been going to India every year to meet the American consuls, to meet our clients, and to spend some times. Also, we do some take lectures or information sessions with the people who want to know more about U.S. immigration laws and visas. And I'm very happy that this trip, David is going to be with me, and both of us are going to be there in the month of March. And if you have any friends, relatives that need any assistance, David, how would you want them to contact us?
Well, probably the best thing for them to do would be to reach out for us by email. The email addresses are flashed on the screen from time to time. And what you can do is send us an email. Send us, probably a lot of these emails will be coming from the United States, but certainly copy your relative abroad. And what we can do is then to organize times to meet with them depending upon what city we're going to be in. And then what we can do is have them come to us.
I can just tell them the cities now. Basically, we're going to go in Chennai and brief periods of time. So if any people want to see us, please, we have limited slots to see people. We are not going to be there any place for a week. It's going to be 2-3 days at most. So we're going to be in Chennai. We're going to be in Mumbai. We're going to be in New Delhi, and possibly Gujarat, maybe Ahmedabad. We're not decided about that. Unless we get a lot of calls from our viewers saying, please, why don't you go to Gujarat also? We may consider that also.
Exactly. And you mentioned that you have a lot of clients and friends in Gujarat, and so do I. And so
we will try to work out, because time is very short and there are a lot of things for us to do. We have a lot of clients to meet in Bollywood also, because we represent many people. So that is something that we thought that you would like to know. And please let us know as soon as possible so that we can book the appointments as early as we can.
Right. I think it's critical for us to let our viewers know that this is a bit of a fact-finding mission also for us to ensure that we're up to date with all the most recent processing information from the U.S. consulates in India, and that we're going to bring that information back and present it on ITV when we get back from our trip.
As you know, that in the past, whenever I used to go, I used to bring a lot of information and tell our viewers what's going on in each of the consulate. And I also take some of the issues. So that's another thing. Because sometimes during our meetings with the consular officer, they want to know what kind of problems or complaints you are getting that you would like to share with us. So if you have any specific issues, could be general issues in terms of, if you don't want to disclose your name or something, you can say this is the kind of problems. We'll be happy to add that if we already not added. Most of the time we prepare a list that we know already. But it's not a bad idea. As a matter of fact, we welcome any suggestions from you about any matters, any issues, any questions you may have that we may want to bring. Generally, the consular officer do not discuss individual cases, otherwise we'll be there all day. So they say that you'll be happy to, if you have any individual cases, just send us an email, we'll be happy to respond to you, and sometimes if you're given a phone appointment to talk to us. But during our personal meetings, they always love to see what are the general issues so that they can discuss, they can advise, they can put a guidance. A lot of people are getting denials on H visas, L visas, and asking them a lot of documentation. And that's one of the subjects that we would like to talk to them also, that we want to convey your information. What are the things you like to see on H1, H4 applications? And if we know everything, that we can prepare our clients accordingly, we can put all that information outside to the entire attorney community, or even the public that is watching our TV programs.
Right.
So
our viewers, I think, Michael, need to know that, this is all for them. The information that we get is all for them. They've been tremendous about sending us questions, sending us their information in order that we can put together these TV shows for them to discuss issues that are very pertinent to their cases. And we want to continue to do that. But specifically within the next few weeks, please send us your any information you want about consular processing in India. And that is what we're going to be hopefully getting that information back here.
Thank you. Now, let's start today's program with the cutoff dates for the month of March 2012. In the family preference categories, the first preference, which is for the unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, for all countries is moves how much?
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Okay.
5 weeks advance.
All right. You give the updates on the dates, how it moved, and I'm going to give the description.
Sounds
The
good.
family 2A category, which is the spouses, husband, wife, and children under 21 of green card holders, is now July 22nd, 2009.
Right? We're pleased to announce that it advanced 6 weeks.
Very good. The family 2B category, which is for the unmarried sons and daughters of green card holders over the age of 21, the date has moved for most of the countries, including India, to November 15, 2003.
Right. And we're pleased to announce a 4-week advancement in that category.
Very good. The family third preference, which is for the married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, the date is January 1st, 2002.
And there, too, we have a 4-week advancement in that classification.
And the fourth preference, which is the brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens, is a very popular category. People want to know all the time. The date is October 8, 2000.
And there, too, we have a 4-week advancement.
And this category
obviously-
has been moving nicely, I would say. The family 2A category has been moving very nicely. Remember, at one point, the family 2 category advanced so close. It was only 4 months away from becoming current. Unfortunately, it retrogressed, went back to maybe almost 4 years. And again, it has come back with pretty good speed. So the husband, and especially the husband and wife of green card holders, they've been waiting some time, long time. It's not bad. Is probably, if you're looking at the possibilities, I will say, hopefully, if it keeps moving this way, maybe less than 2 years to go. Hopefully,
Right.
it doesn't get retrogress. Now, the employment preference categories, the first preference, which are priority workers, is current for all the countries. The employment second preference, which is for the advanced degree holders, is current for most of the countries except India. The India also moved very nicely, and David will tell you how much. It is now May 1st, 2010.
Which is excellent. And we're pleased to announce that that was a 4-month advancement in that classification.
David,
And-
don't forget that last month it advanced 1 year.
That's right.
So at some point, there was a waiting time about 4 to 5 years at least for the employment second preference.
But let's temper that also with the fact that I think that when we were discussing that 1-year advancement, the U.S. Department of State said that there was the possibility of retrogression.
Right.
So it was nice to see a 4-month advancement where we were previously thinking about the possibility of
So it
retrogression.
looks like that in a very good shape. I mean, you're looking at 2010, and hopefully it moves like that. Maybe the waiting period may be probably about a year or so only. So that's excellent. It's very good
Absolutely.
news.
Yep.
The employment third preference for most of the countries except India, it advances to March 15, 2006. So what is the movement?
Well, yeah, the
Other countries.
The other countries was a 3-week advancement.
And for India, it is, I think,
India was only 1 week advancement.
August 22nd, 2002.
That's right. Only a
But
1-week
this is the category, unfortunately, had been moving very, very, very slow.
Exactly.
And the prediction is that people waiting in the employment third preference category, you are looking at maybe 7 or 8 years or more.
Correct.
Very bad, very bad.
Correct.
So that's why you always give a suggestion of moving from third to second.
Exactly. And I think that also, Michael, in these classifications, it's a bit of a tribute to what the underlying policies are in the United States about highly skilled labor. Because what you're seeing is that the EB2 classification is moving faster, and rightfully so, because these are higher level, higher skilled workers who are moving in the EB2 classification, and hopefully these individuals are developing jobs and projects for U.S. workers. And this is what I think everyone is focused on, is hopefully to stimulate the U.S. economy.
And the other workers EW category is also the same, August 22, 2002, and is going to move very, very slowly. And the employment fourth preference, special immigrants, religious workers, which include priests, is current for all the countries.
That's right.
And the employment fifth preference, which is the investors of $1 million or $500,000, that category is current for all the countries. Although there is a feeling, because this category is moving very, very fast. I mean, the number has been coming up. Used to be sometimes few hundred, then few thousand, and it's really getting a lot of attention and interest from some of the people, with the economy being pretty nice, improving. And in some countries, the other way around is economy being bad. They want to move on to their investments as well as the green card in the U.S.
Exactly.
Now, with this, let us see, we can talk something about a subject that we talked a lot of time.
Yeah, I think that just timing-wise, Michael, really quickly, and this is obviously a question that many of our viewers are sending to us, has to do with, of course, the H-1B season. What is our prediction? What do we think is going to happen? Of course, it's very difficult to look into the crystal ball and to know what's going to happen this year. But as everyone is aware, there are 65,000 H-1Bs that are available on a fiscal year basis beginning on April 1st. And we will start making our applications on April 1st for an October 1st start date in 2012. There are also 20,000 H-1Bs available for individuals who have U.S. master's degrees. Now, individuals are sending us, lots of people are sending us questions saying, well, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be a lottery? Are there going to be 3 applications for every 1 spot again like there were over 3 years ago? And I think the answer there is no. I think that clearly we are having, clearly I think things are sort of slow, they're methodical. We had H-1Bs around until Thanksgiving this year. It's my expectation that we may have H-1Bs still.
I wouldn't bet on that this time. I know that in the past we used to file on March 31st for the papers to reach the Immigration Service on 1st of April.
Exactly.
And in many years, day one or maybe day 2, couple of days, they were all gone. But as you said, in the last few years, it has been still continuing for several months. I would say that don't bet on that. Hopefully a month or 2, I'm sure. But even that, why take a chance? I mean, if you really want it,
exactly.
Why take a chance?
Exactly. Why take a chance? I absolutely agree with you, Michael. I don't think we're advising anyone to wait if they don't have to wait. I think that the answer is if you have a sponsor and you're ready to go and you have all your paperwork together, go for the H-1B, get it in as quickly as possible. And another reason to get it in is, number one, you want to get it in before your OPT expires, because then that way you can continue your work authorization until October 1st, which is allowed by regulation. And the second thing is the faster that you get it going, then you don't have to premium process the case. And that's a good thing too.
And the reason that, where is April 1st coming from, the fiscal year for the visas start from October 1st to September 30th.
Correct.
And therefore the employment can only start from October 1st. But the application cannot be filed more than 6 months in advance. Therefore,
Exactly.
it is April 1st from which date the filing starts.
Correct.
And with that, I think we are coming to an end of the program. David, we thank you very much for being here, and thank you all of you for watching our program. Please keep watching us, this program, every week, and we'll try to provide you latest information all the time. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you, Michael.